and welcome to the waning quarter phase. So we are still in a time where we are cleansing, releasing, and really letting your own inner wisdom, intuition, and guidance take you through this practice today. So we are going to have a little more fun exploring throughout this practice, and I really want you to tune into your body, drop into your breath, use your breath as your anchor to come back to, and see how your body is feeling and let it guide you. You can be a little more playful in this practice. I will be still taking you through, but there's more opportunity to explore and play here. So we are going to begin in a seated position, kneeling, cross-legged, however it is that you like, and come into breath. So finding a comfortable seat, and closing down through the eyes to simply turn our senses inwards. And we'll take 3 grounding breaths here, taking an inhale through the nose, exhale, sighing out. 2 more, inhale. And staying in your seat, we are going to come into Ujjayi breath, or also known as ocean breath, drawing up from the pelvic floor, bringing the energy all the way up the spine, constricting the back of the throat so you can hear yourself breathe in and out through the nostrils. Slow, deep breaths. See if you can match the inhale to the exhale. With each inhale, bringing in, drawing in your awareness, peace, clarity. Exhaling out any confusion, fogginess, fuzziness happening in the mind. And take your internal gaze in between the brows to your third eye, gently rolling up the eyes to this space. Helps to increase our focus and tune into that intuition, our inner knowing. And I ask you to make the intention now to connect to your wisdom, to your intuition throughout this practice. Knowing you are safe and you trust yourself. And watching the rise and fall of the belly, the subtle puff up of the chest as you inhale. As you exhale, ribs slowly fall down, caressing the lungs. 2 more deep rounds of breath here, hearing yourself breathe. We'll try and maintain this Ujjayi breath throughout the practice today. Helps to keep you stable and safe in your postures. Gently lower the chin down to the chest. Breathe into the back of the neck. And slowly start to begin some neck rolls here. Left ear to left shoulder. Breathe into the side of the neck that's exposed. Chin back down to chest, other side. And depending on how your neck feels in this moment, sticking with the half circles, we are welcome to gently send the head towards the back of the space for a full neck roll. And slowly heading back the opposite way. Feeling into each space as you turn the head. And start to bring in some chest movement here, moving from the waist. Maybe the fingertips start to glide up and down on the mat or your hips. Free movement here, however it is that your body wants to move. What is she or he calling for right now? How much space can you take up? Full body yawn, maybe expanding through the arms, lifting up through the heart, reaching over and to the side. Absolutely no judgment to yourself and how your body wants to move. There's no way you need to be right now. One more full round of breath here. And as you recenter yourself, bring the arms out in front, toes together, knees wide. Let the hips float back towards the heels, child's pose. Forehead to float down, breathing into the back space, feeling the outer rib cage expand. Soften through the hips. Gentle sway side to side if you like, just to start to loosen up through the inner thighs and the hip space. Pressing into the palms, tuck the chin in towards the chest as we round up to all fours. And as you come shoulders over the wrists, lower the belly, start to send the hips back. So this is a cat-cow to child's pose movement here, rounding up through the back. Lowering the hips, belly, sending it back. And you're welcome to get creative here, maybe side to side movement, getting into the intercostal muscles in the sides between each rib. Maybe bending through the elbows, standing it one way, then the other. One more round here. As you arch the spine away, start to ripple forward, lowering the hips to the floor. And as you lower the hips, bend the elbows, tops of the feet press into the floor. Belly, chest, chin comes down, send the fingertips wider, press into the fingertips. Tuck the chin into the chest and start to peel up and away from the floor. So we're taking spinal undulations here, or cobra waves, lowering down, chest, nose, forehead. Inhale to lift straight up. So it's like we're a slow wave here, moving in one motion with each breath. Increasing our fluidity, mobility through the spine. This is really nice for our posture as well. And once more. Floating down, palms come underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, press up to knees. While we're on our knees in tabletop, for you to pivot the left toes behind the left knee and extend out through the right leg. So we're in this modified side plank. Left hand is underneath the left shoulder. Inhale, right arm to lift and engage through that right glute. Start to pick right foot up off the floor in line with the hip. And as we exhale, squeeze knee to elbows, side crunch here. Inhale, exhale, fingertips, heel presses away from one another. Exhale. 3 more times. Last one, inhale, reaching away. And as you exhale, hand comes to the floor, bend into that right knee, squeeze it up and in towards the chest and softly plant between the hands. From here, gentle pulse back and forth. And slowly take this right hand to the inner edge of the front foot, so both hands are to the inner edge. And we're taking some hip circles here. So you're welcome to, as you come forward, peel open onto the outer pinky edge of that front foot, swiveling one way and then the other. Again, tuning into your hips. How do they want to move right now? Maybe you can feel some tension or some spaces in the body that you need to hold a particular area in. Maybe you're feeling really fluid and free right now and you just want to keep moving. And allow yourself to explore. This is your body, honoring your body and all it does for you. As you find some stillness, reach right fingertips to the sky and exhale to send the hand behind, draw the back foot in. Maybe you take a hold of the back foot, drawing right shoulder back, gaze towards the back of the space. And exhale, slowly lower down, hand to the inner edge. From here, pick the back knee up off the floor, step in, yogi squat, malasana here. Hips lower down, lift through the chest and the heart. Elbows to the inner edges of the knees, press the palms together. So we're here just for a short moment in malasana. Connect back to your anchor, your breath. And then slowly taking a malasana twist. So right hand goes to the outer right edge, shoulder connecting to the knee. Inhale, peel the left fingertips open. Again, press the left shoulder back, open up through the chest. Option is to stay here, energetically pushing away the left knee. You can take a bind by wrapping left arm behind, right arm wraps around and in front. Maybe the fingertips take a hold of one another. One more breath. Exhale, slowly unravel and through to the other side. Connect upper arm, shoulder to the knee, right fingertips lift. Taking the bind if that is available to you right now. And slowly reach the right arm up, lower down, press into the palms, lift the hips. Soft bend into the knees. You can hang for a moment here and forward fold. Belly, navel in towards the spine, letting the upper body hang heavy. Gently release the elbows, bend into the knee, lead with the chest and slowly sweep the arms up overhead. Palms together, lower hands to heart. Rooting down through the heels, lifting through the arches of the feet, drawing the chest up away from the hips. And on this next breath, come back to your intention, connecting to your wisdom, intuition, third eye, between the brows. One more breath here. Exhale, sighing it out. Hands lower down by our side. And as we inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Option is to come down however you like here. So it might be a swan dive or palms together, lower, half, full forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale to fold, bend the knees. Inhale to lift. So we'll do this 3 more times, being creative here as you flow down any way you like. So you come into an inhale, small little bounce here as you reach the arms back up overhead. 2 more times. float the arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, folding down. Halfway lift to lengthen. Exhale, fold, step one leg back, then the other. Press the hips up and away, down dog. So fingertips, palms are firmly into the floor, letting the heels soften here, maybe pedaling out one heel at a time or bending through the knees, maybe a little gaze underneath each armpit. And taking some down dog spinal waves here. So keeping the knees fairly straight, tuck the chin into the chest and we're rippling forward into a plank. Exhale, belly lowers, sending the hips back. Inhale. Exhale, sending it back. 2 more times. Last one, pausing in down dog, connecting to your power, your breath. Lifting up onto the tippy toes and slowly, consciously landing the knees. Pivoting on the right toes this time and extending through the left leg, opening up side plank. Engaging through the glutes, left leg to hover. Exhale, finding that little C crunch here, C curve, squeezing it in. Exhale to lengthen. Three more times. Pushing away as if you're pressing something away of your heels slowly, like you're moving through honey. Last one, squeezing it in. Exhale to extend, land the hand. Bring the foot in, the knee in, squeezing it in, step between the hands. Gentle pulse back and forth. And from here, bring the left hand to the inner edge of that front foot and take your hip circles, or maybe it's some stillness right now. So you soften the connective tissues, the fascia surrounding our muscles, opening into this right hip flexor here, creating space always. One more breath. And slowly left arm to peel open. Send it to the back of the space, squeezing it in. You can squeeze the heel in, take a hold of the outer edge. But they don't have to be touching. You can press towards one another or stick with the twist. Deepest quad stretch as you draw the heel in and press the top of the foot into the hand. Slowly lower. Hands to the inner edge, pick the back knee, step in Malasana Yogi Squat. So here we're coming into a bit of play or exploration of Malasana. So planting the right hand on the floor, and it's like you're really gluing that hand into the floor. This hand is not going to move. And lifting the hips up. And we're walking to the left. So we're walking over to the left side and starting to walk around this hand. Just exploring your range here, walking back the opposite way. Something a little different here. You can bend down, you can lift the hips as high as you like. Moving around, finding a range of movement. Slowly, as you come back to center, Bend the knees, swapping the hands and taking it over towards the right first and walking it around. This is building strength through our ankles and our wrists. Maybe a little more challenging than it looks like. Slowly coming back to center here, bending the knees, lift up through the chest, taking a breath. Recentering yourself. Lower both palms to the floor. Feet can be a little wider here. Soften through the knees. Walk the hands through the legs. And hanging here in a forward fold. Allowing the head, the shoulders to become heavy. And slowly start to bend into one knee. Send the hips to the side and bend into the other, straightening through the opposite leg. You can speed it up a little more here, feeling into what feels right for you right now. And slowly take it back to center, walk the feet a little closer. Bend into the knees, inhale to sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, release, hands come down by our sides. Breathing in through the nose, filling up the belly, chest, crown of the head. Exhale to release. 2 more. From here, bending the knees, sweep the arms in front, chair pose, gaze is straight ahead, lifting up through the heart, softening through the hips. Exhale, airplane arms with the bend in the knees, tuck the chin in, send fingertips to the back of the space. Inhale, chair. Exhale, airplane arms, gazing towards the floor. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, floating back. Once more, inhale to lift. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step one leg back, then the other, finding your plank. Holding plank. Puffing up through the upper back. Strong through the hands and the core. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And from here, slowly and controlled, lowering belly all the way to the floor. Landing softly. Inhale, baby cobra, peeling the chest away, squeeze the shoulder blades together, broadening through the collarbones. Exhale, lower. From here, right heel comes in towards the right glute, so we're bending into that knee and peeling open towards the right side. So we peel open to the right and the sole of the right foot comes to the inner edge of the left. From here, right hand comes behind the right hip. We're pressing into that hand and lifting up through the hips into like a modified wild thing here. Reaching left fingertips to the back. Pointing away with the toes, pressing into the floor. And as we exhale, lower the hips, twisting the opposite way, opening the fingertips out wide, gaze is over the back left finger. Inhale, back into our wild thing, press the hips away. Exhale to lower. Twist. 2 more times, inhale. Exhale. Once more, inhale. And this time, as we lower, our hips come to the floor, we twist around, come back down onto our floor, onto the belly. Press the chest down, inhale to lift cobra. Maybe you can come a little higher this time, arch the back of the heart space forward, breathe into the back of the heart. Exhale to ground down, toes tuck under, knees down dog. You find your breath here, hearing yourself breathe. From here, inhale, left leg to reach behind, three-legged dog. Bend into that left knee, squeeze it in towards the chest. Slowly step between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge, pick up through the back thigh, heel, lift the arms up overhead, gaze straight ahead. As you exhale, straighten through the front leg, pyramid pose. You may step in slightly with that back foot, lift up onto the fingertips to lengthen. Exhale, floating down. Two more times, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, soften through the elbows and the chest. From here, bend into that front knee, plant the right hand down, and we're coming into a side plank. So send that left toe or foot back to meet the other, reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling, lift up through the hips. Option is to stay here. You can start to float that leg, or you can bend left knee in, step it up and over, wild thing, reaching or lifting up through the chest. Lift up through the hips. You can bow the head back. And slowly lower the hips, torso to face down towards the mat. Plank pose. And take your flow option to lower the knees, lowering belly down. Inhale, cobra. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Exhale to lower, toes tuck under, knees down dog. Taking a moment to tune in, to drop in. If your thoughts have been taking you away from the practice, now is your time to come back. So remember to come home, to trust, to allow. Gaze between the thumbs, slowly step in. Full forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold, bend the knees, sweep the arms in front, chair pose. And we start to press into the heels, come to a stand. Exhale, hands come down by our side. Tadasana. From Tadasana, we're coming into a chair pose again, this time lifting up onto the tippy toes for an extra bit of challenge. Sink the hips, lift through the thumbs, the fingertips. An option here is we float the arms down, forward fold, step back into our flow, or we can explore taking a crow pose in between. Bring the palms together. Plant the hands on the floor and lift up onto the toes. Press the back of the knees into the back of the arm or tuck up into the armpits, using your hands firmly pressing into the floor and the back of your arms as shelves here. As you lengthen through the crown of the head, puff up through the back. Squeeze the heels in towards the glutes, and you can step back into your chaturanga. Lowering the thighs down, bend the elbows, soften down a little more. Left knee in towards the glute, peeling open here. To the left side, left sole of the foot to the inner edge of the right leg. Flex the right toes back towards the shin, left hand comes behind. Inhale, pick up through the hips, point away with the toes. Nice full inhale. Exhale, floating the hips down, twisting the other way. Inhale. Exhale, floating down. Moving with your own rhythm of breath here. Floating down. 2 more times. Inhale. Last one. So you pick up the hips this time as you let the hips float down, roll back onto our belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, folding down, toes tucked under, knees down dog. From down dog, inhale, right leg to lift, 3-legged dog. Bend into that knee, squeeze it in towards the chest, nose, step between the hands. Inhale to lift, crescent lunge. Gaze is straight ahead, thumbs pressed to the back of the space. Ears between the biceps, and maybe a little more passive lean into that front leg, drawing back the right hip to find the engagement through the quads, thighs. Slowly straighten through the front leg, float the fingertips down, gentle fold over the front leg. Pyramid pose, maybe step in slightly with the back leg as you sink the heel down. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, fold. Time bend into that front knee, plant the left hand down, heel open the right and send the foot back into your side plank here, side plank of choice, maybe floating the leg, or bend into that knee and send it up and over for a wild thing. And gently plant the hand down, come back to your plank and take a flow here, whether that's coming into cobra or up dog for a moment. Rest here, take a breath. Down dog. And from down dog, lift up onto the toes. Gently start to bring the knees to the floor. Send hips either side, legs around and in front. Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Peace fingers to the big toes or hands to the outer edges of the feet, ankles or shins. Ground down through the tailbone, lift through the spine, crown of the head. So this is a beautiful posture to open up through the hips. And there's no need to have any force here. Just let the knees naturally become heavy. You're welcome to walk the heels a little further away to get into the IT bands, the side of the glutes, or bring the heels a little closer for the inner thighs, groin space. Perhaps you want to bring in some movement here. Again, listening to yourself. How do you want to move today? Maybe you want to come into some Sufi grinds in this pose, bringing the chest forward. Maybe you've got a playlist playing and you can move to the beat of the music right now. Noticing, what does this feel like? What does this pose feel like to you? Just observing whatever comes up here without judging, without questioning why. Just a simple observation, listening to that message from within. Two more breaths here. And slowly, from your seated butterfly, bring the knees together. Plant the feet on the floor and make our way down onto our backs. Maybe hover the hands, squeezing the core vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is to come down last. And from here, bring both knees in towards the chest, squeezing yourself into a little ball. You can bring the head up with you, nose or forehead towards the knees. Maybe a gentle rock side to side. And then lower back down. Plant the feet on the floor. This time we're preparing for bridge pose. So heels are fairly close to the sides, to the glutes. And from here, press into the heels, lift the knees up off the floor, the hips. Interlace the fingertips on the ground beneath you, or you can press into the palms by your side, or maybe lift the arms up and overhead. Engaging through the thighs here, squeezing as if you've got a ball in between the knees. Holding here for 5. Maybe some little pulses through the hips. Gentle lift and lower. And slowly coming down to the floor. Both feet up towards the ceiling for Viparita Karani, waterfall. Pressing the feet away, letting the blood flow the opposite way here, restoring the legs, rejuvenating your body. And gently, you can keep the legs straight here or bend into the knees. Start to drop the knees to one side or the legs extended. Bring the arms out wide in line with the shoulders, drawing the muscles of the waist and through to the other side. So each side, pause, take a breath, sending it to the side of the rib cage that's exposed. Slowly come back to center, pause, taking the next breath, other side. Two more times on each side. And gently come back to center, bend the knees, happy baby. Hands to the outer edges of the feet, flex the toes back. Maybe a gentle rock, sending the knees to the sides, and slowly come back to center. So final pose here, bridge pose, wheel pose. You can come back into bridge and hold bridge, or option is to come into wheel where we bring our fingertips up beside our ears, fingertips facing towards the shoulders. So you press into the heels, lift up onto the crown of the head first, and press up and away, straightening through the arms, pressing the chest through the arms to the back of the space. As you lengthen through the arms and the legs, press the chest forward. And then slowly lowering down, touch the forehead, bring the chest down vertebrae by vertebrae, landing on the floor. Bring the heels, knees in, rolling out here, maybe rolling out through the ankles one way then the other. Finding your breath. Your own time, setting up for Shavasana here, taking up as much space as you need. Letting the feet flop to their sides, arms come out wide. Come back to that soft internal gaze in between the brows, your third eye space. Allowing these next few moments of silence to be for you, to honour that innate wisdom that we always have, that never lies, our truth that calls us in every moment, even when it feels like our mind is taking over. Take a few breaths to find some quiet and tune in to that feeling, that inner knowing. And you will always be brought back home. breath. Perhaps bringing some awareness back to your physical body. Some gentle movement in the toes and the fingertips. And the eyes closed, you may roll on to either side. With the help of your hands, you're welcome to come up to a comfortable seated position to complete the practice. Only if you're feeling ready to. Once you've arrived here in this seated position, bring the palms together at heart center. And we leave the hands at heart for clarity of intent. Place the hands in front of the lips for clarity of speech. And hands to the third eye, our place of knowing, wisdom, for clarity of thought. Hands back to heart center. We honour those who have practiced before us, passing on their wisdom and knowledge. Bowing the head down and honouring yourself for taking this time to practice. Namaste. Thank you so much.